Welcome to Dolphins Today by Chat Sports. I am Nic Rohloff. On today's episode, we are going to look at every single undrafted free agent that the Dolphins signed, one by one, give you my grade for them, as well as what my overall thoughts are on these players. That's a lot of additions that Chris Grier made. But make sure you are subscribed to the channel because we are putting out daily content on the Miami Dolphins, and today is the last day of the month of April. And if you want to take down and track down the Chiefs report, hit that sub button. But we do go live every Tuesday here, as well as put out content, sometimes 2 videos a day, so make sure you are subscribed. All right, the first player we're going to start with, and we're actually going from my highest grades to lowest grades, so we'll start with my favorite players first. That being Andrew Armstrong, the wide receiver from Arkansas. This is, without a question, my favorite player that the Dolphins ultimately added in undrafted free agency. He was the leading receiver in the SEC last season. Are you kidding? I'm actually stunned that he made it to undrafted free agency. I know a lot of people in our live chat on day 3 were clamoring for the Dolphins to ultimately draft him. But the reason why I like him is his size, his speed, and his ability to just make plays with the football, man. You see his raw statistics last season. He did not force a lot of tackles, only a 5.3 yak, but had an 8.58 RAS, ran a 4.51 40. But how about these stats, folks, when it comes to Andrew Armstrong? He only had 6 drops over the past 2 seasons. 6! 4 this past year, 4.9% drop rate. And then the year prior in 2023, it was 2 drops for a 3.4 percentage. And he's also a good contested catch guy. 62.1% contested catch rate last season, converting 18 out of 29 opportunities. 6'4", ran a 4.51. He does not drop the football and is able to go high point the ball as well. The only thing he lacks is a touchdown production, but I think a lot of that is because of the offense that Arkansas runs. And once they got inside the 5-10 yard line, they ran the ball with their QB Dalen Terry and company. So to me, it was Talon Green. It was definitely Talon Green, not Talon. I was thinking of the basketball player Dalen Terry. I don't know why. But either way, Andrew Armstrong is my favorite UDFA that the Dolphins signed, and I think he's really going to make the roster as well. I will give him a tie, though, because the tight end from Texas Tech, Jaylen Conyers from the fucking Red Raiders, couldn't think there for a second. I graded as an A as well. I'm a big fan of Jaylen Conyers, and I think he could be a really solid project for Mike McDaniel. He is really good with the ball in his hands, which reminds me a lot of Jonnu Smith potentially. Had a career 6.6 yards after catch rate, which is really good. Forced 21 missed tackles in 2022. I get that's 3 years ago or in 3 seasons, but he is elite with the ball in his hands. He has Wildcat experience as well in his collegiate career, throwing 6 of 7 in his collegiate career. So he is someone that I think is good in the ball in his hands. He's improving as a run blocker, and he's got good size as well. I really do believe that Conyers is going to make a push for this roster spot. And outside of Jonnu Smith, this tight end room is very much up in the air with Farrell Brown, Julian Hill, Tanner Connor, Hayden Rucci. I think Jaylen Conyers can get it in here and make a noise and make a name for himself. So I'm keeping an eye on him. He is my tie for first in terms of grade for Dolphins UDFAs. But who is your favorite? Mine is Andrew Armstrong and Jaylen Conyers. It's a tie for first, but let me know who your favorite UDFA is that the Dolphins signed. They had 16 of them. Just drop your favorite down below. Maybe it's BJ Adams, the DB from UCF. And this one's an interesting one to me because, well, he was brought in to a top 30 visit for the Fins. So someone Miami clearly valued. They wanted to get to know BJ Adams. 6'1", 3/4, 187 pounds. He's a physical man cover corner. He is not going to specialize in playing zone. He struggled in that rate, but he is a physical guy who likes to get his hands on you and get into his man-to-man coverage. One thing that Dolphins fans will probably like about BJ Adams, he is a strong tackler. Doesn't have a ton of attempts at tackling, but missed 0 tackles last season. 0! And only had a 7.5% missed tackle rate in his entire career at the college level. That is extremely good for a college corner. BJ Adams, a player that here at Chat Sports we thought could go early 7th round, late 6th round, ended up slipping to undrafted free agency for Miami. Big fan of this signing by the Fins. I also give him a tie with another DB, that being John Saunders Jr., the safety from Ole Miss. So I gave Conyers and Armstrong both A's. I give Saunders Jr. and Adams both A minuses. And I like Saunders Jr., man. He was a late addition to this UDFA class. He's got great size. He's 6'2". He's got good explosiveness. His RAS was very solid in terms of his broad jump, his vertical jump. So he's a big safety that is explosive in the air, which allows him to get his hands on a lot of football. He's a ball hawk, man. He had 3 interceptions last year for the Ole Miss defense, but he also forced 4 fumbles. He is physical in the run game. He is able to recover. Doesn't have the best speed, but because of that explosiveness in his lower half and his size, he's able to get his hands and contest a lot of balls in the air. I like John Saunders Jr. a lot, and he is one of my favorites. Definitely one of my top 4. I think he can make a push with this roster as well. All right, the linebacker from Auburn, Eugene Asante, I give him a B+. This is an experienced collegiate player that spent 3 years at Auburn, spent 3 years at North Carolina. But the reason why I think he has a chance to stick in this Dolphins organization is because of his special teams ability. First of all, he's an athlete. He ran a 4.48 40, which at his size, that will absolutely play. He has 727 career special team snaps. So as I mentioned, if you are UDFA, the best chance you have of making an NFL roster right off the bat is finding a niche role on special teams. With his size, his ability to tackle, only having an 11.3 career missed tackle percentage, which for someone who plays 6 seasons is very, very good. The special teams, the speed, the size, the missed tackle percentage, I think Asante could find a role on special teams, and I'm putting Channing Tindall on notice right now. If he's cut before the regular season and before 53-man roster day, I think it's because Eugene Asante ultimately took his spot. All right, we're going to go from a B+ to a B- here for Theo Whis Jr., the wide receiver from Missouri. He is a physical wide receiver. He lacks explosiveness. He has relatively solid hands. But to me, when you see the 4 Dolphins wide receivers that were signed in undrafted free agency, I can't put him anywhere close to Andrew Armstrong, but I can put him ahead of A.J. Henning. And I'm spacing on the other one. Who was the other one from? It was Monaray Baldwin from Baylor, excuse me. I like Theo a little bit more than him. They threw a little bit of money at him, $230K in undrafted free agency, so clearly like him a little bit. I like Armstrong more, but I give Whis Jr. from Missouri a B-. Next up is Ethan Robinson, the corner from Minnesota. He lacks explosiveness. He does. He's not the most athletic corner. I don't think he has that good of an ability to recover if beat either. I think he ran a 4.6 kind of 40, maybe mid 4.5s. So he's not the most explosive athlete. 5'10", so doesn't have great size either. Just if you're looking and comparing positions that the Dolphins signed in undrafted free agency, I think B.J. Adams has an infinitely better chance to make the roster over Robinson. I can say the same thing about Andrew Armstrong over Theo Whis Jr., which is why those two guys got an A and A- respectively, and both Robinson and Wease, although good players, productive at the college level, only got a B-. I have more UDFAs to break down here on the channel, but hey, get your Dolphins jerseys today, whether you want to be the rookie first-round pick Kenneth Grant, second-round pick Jonas Savaiinaea, Jalen Waddle, Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill. It does not matter. You want to get a Dolphins jersey, chatsports.com/Dolphins jersey is the link in the description, comments. It'll get you on sale right now. Take advantage. Links in the description and comments of today's video once again. All right, we're going to go up to a B here for a couple offensive linemen. We'll go Josh Preeb, the O-lineman from Michigan. I think this is a player that needs to be talked about a little bit more, to be honest. I think we have a couple hidden gems in undrafted free agency on the offensive line. This was a 4-year starter. Spent 5 years at the college level. He spent 4 years at Northwestern, the last year at Michigan, but he was a 3-year starter for the Wildcats and then started last year for the Wolverines. He's also got explosive ability. And we know, and I hate to keep on harping on this fact, But for the Dolphins O-line, they need athletes on that O-line because they run a ride zone scheme. They need people to get to the next level and to the outside quicker than other schemes. And you see it on screen. 9.23 RAS. Had good broad jump, good vertical numbers, decent 40-yard dash numbers as well. He's experienced. He was a leader at Northwestern and Michigan. And with that athleticism, he will absolutely fight for his life to make this Dolphins roster. But a player that I don't think can be slept on either is the Western Michigan offensive lineman, Addison West. So we got Preeb from Michigan, West from Western Michigan. Similar to Preeb, he's a superb athlete. Has elite explosion, ranking in the 9s of both vertical and broad jump. Great speed as well, also ranking in the upper echelon. I believe it was 8.5. And he's just undersized. That's the one issue for Addison West, but he had an 8.47 RAS, so he's a good athlete. He put up unbelievably good numbers for the Broncos in the MAC last season. 94.9 overall PFF grade, 94.4 run blocking grade, 0 sacks, only 1 penalty. Look at these grades, man. And I know he's playing lower competition, but it's hard for me not to get excited about Addison West, the offensive lineman, with his athleticism, as well as what he put on tape last season, could be a riser for the Fins. All right, we're going to stay on the offensive line here with Ted Cushi, the offensive lineman from Western Michigan, another Bronco here. He is very interesting in size. He came in at 6'5". He's got decent speed. His PFF numbers aren't great. They're in the mid-60s. And I do like his size, and I do like his athleticism combination, but I'm not really sold on him making this roster. I also think it's going to be difficult to make this roster on the offensive tackle department because you've got Patrick Paul, you have Larry Borum, you have Austin Jackson, and maybe they keep, one more offensive tackle. I think I could see that being Ryan Hayes, Braden Daniels, but hey, maybe Ted Cushi can make a run for it, play tackle for the Western Michigan Broncos. All right, we'll get over to some of my lower grades here. Nate Noel, the running back from Missouri, undersized, 5'7", 5'8", and unfortunately, he's not a burner. It's not like he's a 5'7" running back that's running a 4.3 40 or anything like that. So he's a stocky, small stature running back, and with Miami's running back room that they have in Jalen Wright, Devon Achane, Alexander Madison, Ollie Gordon, to me, there's no room for Noel to make this roster. Listen, he'll try. He'll get some carries in the preseason for sure. But I gave it a C+ because I don't see the Dolphins keeping more than 4 running backs. And to me, I think running back is set. Unless the Dolphins get a catastrophic injury, I think those 4 I just mentioned of Gordon, Achane, Wright, and Madison are going to be your 4 running backs on the 53-man roster. Another C+ grade here for A.J. Henning, the wide receiver from Northwestern. Not the biggest wide receiver, and he didn't showcase the best, change of direction, didn't showcase the best athleticism in his pro day or anything like that. So I'm not really sold on A.J. Henning. As I mentioned, Wease was a little bit more productive in a tougher conference in the SEC. Andrew Armstrong was the best wide receiver in the SEC last year in terms of production. I don't really buy A.J. Henning being someone to stick around here on the Fins. Alex Huntley, the defensive lineman from South Carolina, not the most explosive athlete either. I don't think Huntley was very productive at South Carolina either. Not a fan of his addition. But there is a spot on this roster for another defensive lineman, although they drafted Zeke Biggers, drafted Jordan Phillips, drafted Kenneth Grant. They have Benito Jones and Zach Sealer. They likely need 6 guys. Right now they have 5 guys, so there is another roster spot available for a defensive lineman. Maybe Huntley can fight out Matt Dickerson for that role. We'll ultimately see. Another C grade here for Neland Hibbert, the long snapper from Alabama. Not going to discuss much about a long snapper. Sorry, it's not going to do it. I give it a C. Hard to really know if he's a stud or not. Last player we're going to talk about today here, or second to last, Monaray Baldwin, the wide receiver from Baylor, the person who escaped my name or my mind earlier in this video. Not good athlete whatsoever. Wasn't productive for the Bears, and I think his RAS was in the 2s. Yeah, I'm not kidding. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was like a 2.83 or something like that. So not productive, not athletic, not really sure what Miami's thinking here with Monaray Baldwin. And then the last one, also the last signing they had. This was the most recent UDFA signing. He wasn't in our initial UDFA tracker video on Sunday afternoon, but it's Sei Aladipo, not related to Victor Aladipo, to my best knowledge. Safety from Boise State, another unathletic safety. C-, ran a 4.67 40, I believe, so he's not quick enough to cover sideline to sideline at the next level, in my opinion. He also wasn't the best at Boise State. I give it a C-. Him and Baldwin were no doubt my least favorite offensive or UDFAs that the Dolphins had. All right, grade the Dolphins UDFA class A, B, C, D, or F. We had one of the largest UDFA classes that we had in the entire NFL. I mean, 16 players is absolutely egregious. Grade the overall UDFA class A, B, C, D, or F. Like what I gave the Dolphins draft class of 8 players, I'm going to give it a B+. I actually like what Miami did here. Obviously, as you saw, big fan of Andrew Armstrong. Really like Jaylen Conyers. I think B.J. Adams from UCF and John Saunders Jr. could both fight for a roster spot. I like Eugene Asante's ability on the special teams end. And then you see some of these offensive linemen, like Addison West and Josh Preeb. Would not shock me one bit if one of those 2 players was on the 53-man roster. Not one bit. I really don't. I like Addison West a lot. He put up great numbers last year for Western Michigan. Preeb has got good leadership and experience between Northwestern and Michigan. I like what Miami did here. Some of these bottom UDFAs out on, but the first 5 or 6 we named, I'm a fan. I'll go B+. And continue to make sure you are subscribed because we'll break down content here every single day, sometimes 2 videos a day. And if you're still watching the video, clearly like